Hi everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there today, but here are solutions to your openers that you're doing in class with Mr. Schmidt. Couple reminders, homework 44 is due tomorrow for completion. You have a test Friday, and you still do have your quiz next period. So please pay attention. So the volume of any cone is 1/3 area of the base times height. And since this is a circular base, we need to know the radius, which is 5. And we'll need to know the height, so we need to draw in the height. I know there's a right angle there because it's a height. When you do Pythagorean theorem, this is the square root of 75, or 5 root 3. Some of you may have noticed it was a 30, 60, 90 because the hypotenuse is double one of the legs right here. And that would have been a fine way to get a result. So it's calculate 1/3 is equal to 25 over 3 pi root 3, which is about 246.72 units cubed. For the next problem, I've given you most of the instructions. You have to find the volume of the entire cone, so let's do that. To it, the radius is 5. And the height, when you do Pythagorean theorem, is 13. So big H here is not 13, I'm sorry, it's 12. So 1/3 pi squared. This side and this system, okay? And the way we're going to do that is by subtracting this top cone. I'm going to highlight it here in yellow. Okay? We're going to subtract that volume. Right, let me erase what I wrote there. And in order to do that, I need to find the height and the radius of this little triangle. Okay? So I'm going to redraw this. And hopefully you'll start to see something that looks familiar. And if not, that's okay. Okay? So this looks like similar triangles to me. And so we can actually use the ratio from the little triangle to the larger triangle. So little triangle is 10 to r. Big triangle ratio is 13 to 5. So r times 13 equals 50. So r equals 3.85 if you're rounding. And if you have that, then you could do Pythagorean theorem to find h. Alright? So h squared plus 3.85 squared equals 10 squared. And after you do all your calculations, h is about 9.23. So the volume of the little cone is 3.85 squared times 9.23 times about 173.27 units cubed. So I'm going to go up here and write out what 100 pi would be. That's 314.16 units cubed. So the first amount is the minus little cone. So 314.16 minus 143.27 units cubed. About 170.89 units cubed. Alright? So now we're going to go through the solutions for number 2. Remember, this is the quadratic I was talking about. That would happen again, and this will be on it. So this is the volume here is the length times width times height. So 8 times 2x plus 1 times x plus 8. And that has to go 864. Okay, so I'm going to multiply things out. And in order to use the quadratic formula, I'm going to subtract the 864 from both sides of the equal sign. And so I now have 16x squared plus 136x minus 8 equals 0. Now using the quadratic formula, a is 16, b is 136, c is negative 800. X equals the opposite of b, so negative 136 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Okay? And then I'm just going to simplify what's underneath the radical right now. 136 squared is 18,496. And then I have two negatives here and here, so I'm going to have a plus 51,200 all over 32. That'll equal negative 136 plus or minus the square root of, this is kind of the number, 69,696 over 32. And then when I take the square root of that number, I get negative 136 plus or minus 264 over 32. Now hopefully you remember you get two answers. So we'll do negative 136 minus 264 over 32. And then we'll do negative 136 plus 264 over 32. And we do have to check both to see if they work. So when we do that, we get negative 12.5 and 4. So if I plug negative 12.5 into here, in here I get negative side lengths. So that doesn't work for my picture. But 4 does. So x is 4, and I think you had to find the dimensions. So the dimensions of this are 2 times 4 plus 1, which is 9. And then 4 plus 8 is 12. So the dimensions are 8 by 9 by 12 by 12 units. And x had to equal 4 units. Now, why do we look at volume at all? You kind of see it in lots of different places, but don't really think about it. One place you see it is in silos. So if you drive anywhere outside of the Chicagoland area and you're in cornfields, you might end up seeing these grain silos that are usually out there in Illinois. And so here are some examples of how you can use volume in those situations. So if you look at the first one, we have a cylinder with a hemisphere. So this volume formula is 2/3 pi r cubed because we have half of it. And this volume formula is beta times height. Alright, we have R and H, which is pretty nice. So the volume of the hemisphere plus the volume of the cylinder will give us our total volume. Alright, so we're just going to add those. So 2/3 pi 10 cubed equals 666.67 pi feet cubed, or 2094.40 feet cubed. Right? Let me move this down. Plus the volume of the cylinder, and its base is a circle, and it's not a cone, so we're just going to do beta times height. So pi r squared, so 10 squared times its height, 100. And that gives us 10,000 pi, which is about 31,415.93 feet cubed. And when I add those together, when I add those together, I will get about 33,510.32 feet cubed. Okay? So that's a nice problem because you get to combine different shapes for that formula. Alright, and then the last one, we have a cylinder and a cone. Alright, the volume formula for the cylinder, like last time, beta times height. Oops, and then do that. There we go. And then the cone here is 1/3 beta times height. And then we'll just add them together. The volume of cylinder is pi 9 squared, because the diameter is 18, times height, which is 29. So 9 squared times 29. So that's 2,349 pi. Right, the volume of the cone is 1/3 pi 9 squared, and its height is 7. And that is 189 pi. I'm going to add those together. 2,538 pi, which is about 7,973.36 feet cubed. Alright, hopefully this was helpful for you, and do well on your quiz. See you tomorrow.